Revealed, the incredible moment a millionaire's mockery led to a life-changing adoption for this. The summer air was thick with laughter and sunlight as Jamie flipped pancakes at the bustling fundraiser held at Beacon Park. In her small corner of the world, the smell of syrup fused with the echoes of children playing and the cheerful banter of neighbors. But today, everything shifted when Chad Monroe strolled onto the scene, his tailored suit a sharp contrast to the picnic benches and old swings. "Hey, Jamie. Nice choice of career," he called, his voice dripping with condescension. The laughter that followed rang sharp in her ears, turning the warmth of the day cold. Jamie's cheeks burned as she forced a smile, serving the patrons who continued to admire her grit. She was used to shrugging off Chad's jabs, but this audience at the park made it harder. They exchanged glances, whispers buzzing like angry bees in the air. In the crowd, her 8-year-old daughter, Lily, was a burst of sunshine, flashing her dimpled smile. Lily adored her mom, often claiming she was the strongest woman in the world. Yet Jamie felt a lump in her throat, wrestling with humiliation. Why did Chad's mockery pierce so deep? She glanced at Lily, who was blissfully unaware of the tension swirling around them. Jamie took a deep breath, reminding herself of all the late nights spent balancing work and home, teaching Lily the importance of hard work and resilience. "Mommy, look. Isn't today the best?" Lily beamed, her innocence an antidote to the bitterness Jamie felt. "We're helping people." As Jamie wrapped her arms around her daughter, Mr. Thompson, an elderly veteran from the neighborhood, approached. His kind eyes sparkled with understanding. "Don't let a fool shake your spirit, Jamie," he encouraged, sharing his own struggles with classism. "Life throws mud, but you decide if it sticks or washes away." His words resonated within her, a flicker of hope igniting her resolve. Maybe she was more than the sum of her circumstances. Maybe today was about rising up, not retreating behind embarrassment. As the laughter of Chad chased her, she contemplated confronting him. "Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen." Now let's continue. With every passing minute, the anger roared within her, fluttering like trapped birds. When Chad strutted over again, Jamie felt her pulse race. She stood tall, determination carved her features. "What do you achieve from mocking people who work hard?" she challenged, her voice steady. Chad's smirk faltered. "Life's easier with money, Jamie. You should know that by now." Her heart raced. Just then, the crowd hushed, gathering close. The moment shimmered, their community rallied around her, cheering for the waitress who refused to be stepped on. Jamie's spirit soared. How could she betray her values? With her community behind her, a newfound strength blossomed in her heart, but just as the confrontation quieted into an unsettling suspense, Jamie discovered a hidden connection to Chad's wealth and inheritance linked to her family. Did she want to dive into a life of luxury? The weight of the decision pressed on her chest. As Chad's eyes narrowed, Jamie caught a glimpse of her daughter and felt the warmth of the connection she had built with her community. Would she embrace riches or hold fast to the values of love and family? The crowd awaited her response, their hopes jangling in the air, a community bound by shared struggles and fierce loyalty. With everything hanging in the balance, one final revelation threatened to unravel the fragile threads of her heart. The tension in the air was palpable. As Jamie stared into Chad's piercing gaze, her thoughts raced like the whirlwind around her. She felt the weight of her community's expectations pressing down, a reminder of the nights she had spent hustling to build a better future for Lily, and all those little victories that had shaped her resilience. "Do you really think money can buy dignity, Chad?" Jamie challenged, her voice rising above the murmur of the crowd. She saw a flicker of surprise cross his face, quickly masked by an arrogant smirk. "Dignity? In your line of work? He shot back, his tone laced with disdain. But the energy in the park shifted. Gabby, a single mother from the neighborhood, stepped forward, fists clenched, eyes steady with determination. Jamie's got more dignity than you'll ever know, she declared, her voice fierce. Encouraged, others began chiming in, their voices multiplying like ripples in the water, echoing the strength of their solidarity. Lily stood beside them, her wide eyes taking it all in, not fully understanding but feeling the intensity of the moment. With the unexpected support of her neighbors igniting her spirit, Jamie realized it wasn't just about her anymore. It was about every struggle they faced together. Each person present had fought their own battles, and together, they forged a community bound not by wealth or status, but by grit, love, and resilience. Chad, Jamie said, her voice steady, I'll take my hard-working life over your empty wealth any day. This park, these people, this is what matters. She swept her arms wide, encompassing the laughter of children, the warmth of shared stories, the camaraderie in the air that wealth could never buy. Chad's expression darkened, his confidence faltering. The crowd leaned closer, their energy coiling like a spring, ready to burst. Jamie could feel the conviction flowing through her, bold and unstoppable, but then, something shifted within her. The information she had just uncovered about Chad's family connection whispered to her, weaving around her thoughts like a ghost. Could she, in navigating the storm of her emotions, extract some greater purpose from this turmoil? She looked at Lily, who still had that little innocent smile, oblivious to the battle of wills in front of her. "Mommy, can we help him too?" Lily asked, her wide eyes taking in the awkward tension. The question hung in the air, surprising everyone. Jamie felt her heart squeeze. How could she explain the complexities of entitlement to her daughter? "Lily, sometimes people need a little push to see what truly matters," Jamie replied softly, her gaze steady with love for her daughter. Maybe this was more than just a personal struggle. As she looked back at Chad, intertwined with the bitter taste of his mockery, a thought flickered. If she had access to that wealth, could she use it to uplift those around her? Was there a way to turn his arrogance into a tool for progress rather than a symbol of division? The park fell into silence. Jamie's heart raced as the realization washed over her. This was more than a choice, it was a turning point. She could choose to reclaim her narrative, weaving her dreams into a story that embraced community, hope, and perhaps, even forgiveness. The crowd waited with bated breath, the moment thick with expectation. Would she take a leap of faith into an uncertain future, or would she draw a line in the sand against Chad's influence? The answer hung tantalizingly in the air, as Jamie felt her resolve harden. What would she decide, and how would it redefine her world and her daughter's? With every eye on her, the next words could change everything. Would she walk away from the past or step boldly into a new chapter of possibilities? Jamie took a deep breath, feeling the weight of the moment settle around her. The crowd was charged with anticipation, their gaze fixed on her. She felt as if the world had narrowed to just her and the choices before her. At that moment, the warmth of support from the neighborhood surged through her veins. "Chad," she began, her voice quivering slightly but growing stronger with each word. "I used to think that people like you, with your money and status, had it all figured out. But now I see that true worth comes from the people around you, from lifting one another up." She paused, letting her words hang in the air, searching for the right ones to capture the moment's intensity. "What you don't realize is that all your wealth cannot replace genuine connection. It can't create the love in this community, the pride we feel when we support one another." A murmur of agreement rippled through the crowd, and Jamie smiled a little, feeling strength in their unity. But the edges of doubt still lurked in her mind. Could she really bridge the gap between her spirit and Chad's cold, calculated world? Helping others, showing kindness, that's what makes a person truly rich, Jamie continued, her eyes never leaving Chad's. "You can keep your arrogance. But I will build something meaningful right here in this park, where little ones like Lily can grow up surrounded by love and opportunity." Nervous laughter floated through the crowd, and even Chad seemed momentarily thrown off. The confidence from just a moment ago had dimmed in the face of Jamie's earnestness. but she could see in his eyes that he was ready to back down. "What are you going to do? Host bake sales?" he sneered. "Do you think that's enough to change anything?" Jamie felt the heat rise within, but with a glance at her daughter, she tempered her anger. "You may see this as a game, Chad, but it's not. I want to inspire hope. I want to create a tangible change, and yes, if that means reaching across the aisle to you, then I'm willing to try." Silence fell again, thick and heavy. Jamie could almost hear the wheels turning in Chad's mind. Could he possibly see things differently? Lily tugged at her sleeve, her innocent curiosity momentarily reawakening and bringing a touch of lightness back into the atmosphere. "Mommy, how can we help him see?" she asked, her big brown eyes seeking answers. Jamie knelt down to meet her level, kneading the tension just a bit more. "Sometimes, sweet girl, we have to show people what they cannot see. Can we invite him for dinner?" Lily suggested, optimism spilling out of her like sunshine breaking through the clouds. A laugh burst forth from the crowd as Jamie took in her daughter's pure heart, balancing the weight of the challenge against hope. Did she really want to turn this into something positive? Would she dare to reach out, to offer a chance for change? Would Chad accept the hand of a community different from his own? If Chad agrees to listen, then yes, why not? Jamie said, without even fully processing her own words. She could feel the tension shift, a seed of possibility germinated, weaving its way through the crowd like a bright thread through a dark tapestry. "Are you serious?" Chad's expression morphed from disbelief to a feigned nonchalance, but Jamie could detect a flicker of interest. "Why not? Maybe it's time for you to see how we live. It's not a circus, Chad. It's a way of life." Suddenly, Jamie realized the boldness of her proposition. Would Chad be willing to step away from his bubble of privilege to join her family for dinner? She held her breath as she watched him consider her words, the silence stretched between them, heavy with implications. Would he accept the offer, or would he dismiss it as a ridiculous idea? What would it mean for her community, and for the chance to reshape their narratives? In that moment, Jamie knew that the stakes had never been higher. Would this conversation lead to breakthroughs or breakdowns? With her heart thudding in her chest, she braced for Chad's response, ready to navigate the unexpected journey ahead. How far would this idea take them? Would it open a door to a true transformation or result in yet another battle? Chad rubbed the back of his neck, his expression shifting from skepticism to something softer. It was a moment that felt suspended in time, as if the crowd around them held its breath too. Jamie could see that the flicker of interest in his eyes had turned into something else, curiosity, perhaps, that he hadn't expected. "All right," he said slowly, the word coming out like ice cracking underfoot. "Dinner. But just to be clear, I'm not looking for a charity case here. I want to know what makes this place tick." Lily's face lit up like a sparkler on the 4th of July. "Yay! You're coming for dinner." She clapped her hands excitedly. Jamie couldn't help but smile, not just out of her daughter's joy, but because this might be the first step towards changing a heart that had seemed so impenetrable. Chad's brows furrowed again. It looked as if the gears in his mind were still churning, wrestling with the realities of this new, unsuspected invitation. This was uncharted territory for both of them. "I won't hold back, you know," he warned, his tone light, but Jamie could sense an underlying tension. "Just be ready for it. Small talk isn't my strong suit." "Good," Jamie replied, feeling a surge of unexpected confidence. "We can save that for dessert. Let's start with the real stuff." As the crowd around them started to disperse, carrying with them the buzz of excitement and whispers of their new alliance, Jamie's heart was a kaleidoscope of anticipation and worry. How would dinner unfold? Would Chad truly listen and learn, or would he dismiss everything as absurd? Later that evening, as she prepared the modest meal with Lily by her side, Jamie couldn't shake the butterflies in her stomach. They chopped vegetables together, and she explained the significance of each dish, the recipes passed down through generations, the memories tied to family dinners that filled their home with laughter and love. Do you think he'll like my macaroni and cheese? Lily asked, mixing the pasta in a bowl. Absolutely, Jamie replied, soothing the worry in her daughter's voice. You know what? This isn't just about food. It's about sharing who we are and the love we give to one another. As they set the table, each plate set with care, Jamie's mind raced with questions. What if Chad found their home too cramped, their lives too simple? Would he look down on everything they valued? A sense of determination grew inside her. She wanted him to see that wealth was more than a bank balance, it was about the richness of moments shared. When the doorbell rang, Jamie felt her heart drop. This was it. She locked eyes with Lily, who was glowing with excitement and eagerness. Remember, we're showing him our life. Jamie whispered, squeezing her hand before they both headed to the door. As Jamie opened it and greeted Chad with a cautious smile, she was struck by the nervous expression on his face. He was dressed in casual attire, a stark contrast to his usual sharp suits, but still had an air of undeniable restraint, as if he were bracing for an impact. Hey, he said cautiously, as if stepping into a lion's den. You really weren't kidding about the dinner? No, I wasn't, she replied, letting a genuine smile warm her voice. Welcome to our home. With a barely perceptible shake of his head, Chad stepped inside. It was just the three of them at that moment, but the weight of possibility hung in the air, thick and electric. What revelations awaited them at the dinner table? Would they peel back the layers, or would walls go up higher than ever? The first course was served. Would it serve as a bridge or would it just be a meal? Jamie had no idea. But she could feel that tonight could mark the beginning of something truly transformative or unravel before her very eyes. Chad took a seat at the small kitchen table, glancing around as if trying to absorb the cozy chaos that characterized Jamie and Lily's home. The walls were adorned with crayon drawings and family photos, telling stories of joyful moments and shared laughter. Jamie felt herself holding her breath, a nervous energy simmering in the space between them. Wow, this is nice, Chad managed, looking at the handmade decorations. Jamie could tell his words were genuine, albeit slightly bewildered. He picked up the fork, studying the steaming plate of macaroni and cheese like it was some unfamiliar artifact. Lily, in her excitement, spoke without hesitation. I made it all by myself. With a little help from Mom. Her pride was infectious and it broke through the tension in the air. Chad raised an eyebrow, a hint of surprise softening his features. Really? You did a great job. There was a tiny glimmer of warmth there, and Jamie couldn't help but feel hopeful. As they began to eat, the first bites were silent, and Jamie could almost hear the ticking of the clock in the background. She watched Chad's expression evolve with each taste, a hint of approval creeping across his face. But then he set down his fork and leaned back in his chair. So, what's the deal here? He asked, his tone turning serious. You really think a meal can convince me that your life is worth something? This is just food. The immediate shift sent a chill through Jamie, but she was determined to hold her ground. It's more than that. We don't have all the things you probably value, but what we do have, it's rich in a different way. Family is everything. Chad's eyes narrowed, skepticism right on the edge. Family? You think that's enough? In my world, you're judged by your successes. What can you offer? Lily's face fell, and Jamie felt her heart clench. Chad, she said firmly, success isn't just about money. It's about connection, love, and being there for one another through everything. We might not have a lot, but we have each other. Isn't that worth something? Chad's expression shifted, it was as if a forgotten memory had surfaced. He hesitated. That's not how it works for most people. I mean, you're talking about ideals. This is real life. But Jamie pressed on. Real life includes the hard moments too. Have you ever lost someone you loved? Has your ambition ever come at a cost? The challenge hung in the air, a crucial moment suspended in time. Lily watched the back and forth with wide eyes, her innocence stark against the weight of their conversation. Jamie's heart swelled with protectiveness, urging Chad to see beyond himself. She'd never seen him quite like this, and maybe just maybe there was more beneath that polished exterior. I've lost, Chad admitted quietly, almost in a whisper. But I've buried it under success. That's how I deal. And just like that, a sliver of vulnerability broke through Chad's exterior. Jamie could feel the surroundings change, the air becoming thicker with emotion. Hope warmed her heart, and she leaned in a bit closer, her next words firm yet compassionate. Maybe it's time to unearth that loss. Can you share? Can we help you find a part of yourself again? Chad opened his mouth, glancing at Lily before shutting it again, deep in thought. Uncertainty flickered in his eyes, but Jamie saw something else too, a hint of longing, maybe even a glimmer of trust forming in that very moment. As if sensing the gravity of what was happening, Lily interjected. You can tell us. We can help. She beamed in a way that lit up the room, her childlike faith tangible. The corner of Chad's mouth twitched, a hint of a smile breaking through. Maybe that's the kind of richness I've been missing. But just then, Jamie's phone buzzed on the table, interrupting this pivotal moment. She glanced at the screen, her heart sinking, a knot tightening at the back of her throat. She had a feeling the news could shift everything they were building. Would it derail this budding connection? Or could it lead to something more profound? She took a deep breath, steeling herself for whatever was to come. Excuse me for a second, she said, anticipation crawling through her. As she picked up the phone, she could already sense that what lay ahead would either pull them closer or tear them apart in ways she couldn't yet imagine. Jamie's fingers trembled as she swiped the screen, her pulse quickening. The headline was glaring, and each word lit a fire of worry in her stomach. Hey, it's the article, she murmured, more to herself than to Chad and Lily. She'd received a message from a family member who had stumbled across an unexpected feature in a local publication. What article? Chad asked, his curiosity overriding his previous hesitance. She glanced at him, then back at her phone, feeling the pull to shield Lily from any negativity. Just something about my past, she said, hoping to downplay it. But it was too late. Lily's innocent gaze fixated on her. Is it about the time when you were sad? The day you got the call? Chad's brows furrowed. What call? The atmosphere shifted sharply, laden with unspoken history. I was just upset about some things, she stammered, her heart racing, torn between the urge to confide and the need to protect. Chad leaned forward, his interest piqued. Jamie, if it's important, he encouraged gently, sharing could help, right? She sighed, casting her eyes to the floor, seeking the strength to voice painful memories. A few years ago, I had to make a choice about my family. I lost someone special. It broke me. For a moment, silence enveloped them, the weight of untold stories hanging thick in the air. Lily, ever perceptive, ventured closer. You mean like how you love them a lot? Like I love you? She asked, her innocent logic striking a chord. Chad eyed Lily, a look of empathy sweeping across his face. He seemed to soften as he connected the dots between Jamie's pain and Lily's innocence. Exactly, Jamie replied, her voice a whisper as tears pricked the back of her eyes. But that pain became a driving force for me. I didn't want to feel lost anymore. So I focused on building something new, something that mattered. What do you mean? Chad's voice was low and steady, as though he was genuinely invested in her truth. After I lost my brother, I decided to dedicate my life to helping kids find homes. I thought it was the least I could do, she said, her throat tightening. I wanted them to feel love and belonging. I didn't need a big career or money as long as I could make a difference. Chad blinked slowly, processing every word, his demeanor shifting from skepticism to understanding. So you're saying, you've turned your pain into a purpose? Yes, Jamie nodded, glancing at Lily, whose bright eyes radiated trust and love that felt like a safety net. Chad chewed on this revelation, his face conflicted, struggling with his own barriers. I don't know if I could do that, he confessed, his voice cracking slightly. Burying the past seemed so much easier. Jamie reached over, placing her hand on his. It might feel like that now, but wrestling with vulnerability can lead you to a truth that's liberating. You don't always have to hide. Just then, Jamie's phone buzzed again, pulling her attention back. This time, it was a notification from the news article. Her heart raced as she opened it, the weight of her world threatening to pull her under once more. What does it say? Chad leaned in, curiosity battling with concern, his previous bravado fading away. Jamie's breath caught as she read the snippet. It was a recounting of a tragic loss, highlighting the consequences of neglect in a system where family mattered most. It's about a kid, she choked out, a kid who shouldn't have to feel alone. Lily curled her hand around Jamie's tighter, her face filled with instinctive worry. Are they okay? No, Lily. They need someone. The tears she had held in began to spill over. Chad's gaze shifted between them, the tension in the atmosphere now electric. We need to do something, Jamie. We can't just read this and walk away. Jamie's heart raced, adrenaline coursing through her. Could this be the moment they all needed, an act that would connect them more deeply? What are you thinking? Chad's face lit up with an urgency she hadn't seen before. I think it's time for action. Let us get involved. We can help. I can help too. Lily chimed in, brimming with excitement. Each of them held a piece of resolve, the pieces of their connection strengthening with this unified purpose. Was this their turning point? Or were they on the verge of unraveling even deeper truths within their lives? As Jamie looked at them, she couldn't help but wonder if this was finally the moment they all needed the chance to face their vulnerabilities together. But how far were they willing to go? The room buzzed with unanswered questions as they all took a deep breath, ready to venture into the unknown. Jamie sat at the small, round table, the news article still glowing on her phone, her mind racing with the possibilities. Chad and Lily exchanged glances, a silent agreement building between them. They all felt it, the spark of urgency, the pull to make a difference. What do we do next? Jamie asked, her voice trembling with excitement and anticipation. She realized the moment had transformed her sorrow into something hopeful. This wasn't just about her past, this was about helping someone else find their way. Chad ran his fingers through his hair, a nervous tic she'd noticed before. We start by reaching out to organizations that help kids in need. There must be places that can connect us with someone who needs support. Yeah. Like a superhero team. Lily exclaimed, her face lighting up. We can be heroes. Jamie couldn't suppress a smile. Absolutely. We'll be their heroes. Chad chuckled softly, his tension easing as he caught Lily's infectious spirit. All right, let us find an organization and volunteer. We can use our skills. His voice trailed off as he glanced at Jamie, suddenly remembering how complex this journey could be. Skills. Jamie murmured, her brow furrowing. What if they need something specific? What if we can't help the way we want to? Chad met her gaze, a serious expression settling on his face. Then we learn. We become what they need. We're not alone in this, we're in it together. That makes us stronger. Jamie felt warmth blossom in her chest. The gears in her mind shifted. Suddenly, this wasn't just about helping a child. It was an opportunity for them all to discover their strengths and forge a deeper bond. Okay, I'm in, she said, determination coating her words. We'll find an organization to help. And I'll share the details of my story with them. Maybe it can motivate others. The excitement filled the room as all three began brainstorming ideas. Ideas flowed like water, and soon they were lost in plans. They mapped out potential organizations, wrote down phone numbers, and flipped through social media on Jamie's phone to search for placements. But as they dove deeper into their search, a sense of dread began creeping in for Jamie. What if they reject us? Chad's voice softened, brushing aside her fears. Then we try again. But trust me, they'll see your heart. That's what counts. Lily clapped her hands. We're going to make a difference. I can help kids and be their friend. Jamie nodded at the hope shining in Lily's eyes. You will, Lily. You're already their friend by wanting to help. As the trio continued brainstorming late into the evening, the atmosphere radiated creativity and deep connection. But hidden beneath the surface was a thorny worry for every unanswered question about how to reach out. A nagging doubt lingered. What if Jamie's past would come back to haunt her? That thought followed her even as they wrapped up for the night, the weight of it pressing on her heart. Before turning in, Jamie hugged Lily tightly, knowing that the little girl's innocence offered a precious shield against the harsh realities of the world. Tomorrow is a new day, she whispered. Yes. We're going to help someone. Lily squeaked, enthusiasm bubbling in her little voice. As Chad left the room to get ready for bed, Jamie lingered a moment longer. She couldn't shake the feeling that, despite their excitement, they were stepping into a storm. What if the truths of her past unraveled at the worst possible moment? Tomorrow would hold the chance for them to leap into a new adventure, but would it also unearth buried secrets? With a heart full of hope and a mind brimming with questions, she climbed into bed, the flickering light of a new dawn waiting just beyond her window. What awaited them on this new journey? Would they be ready when the truth came knocking? The morning sun peeked through the window, casting a warm glow in Jamie's room. She sat up, the heaviness of yesterday still clinging to her thoughts. Today was the big day. They had decided to visit a local organization dedicated to helping children find safe homes. As the realization settled in, an electrifying energy coursed through her. Today is the day, she whispered to herself, determination rising. She felt different, lighter, yet charged with anticipation. With a quick shower and a breath of fresh air, she dressed in her favorite blue t-shirt that read "Be the Change." It felt like a talisman, a reminder of her purpose. Lily burst into Jamie's room, bouncing on her feet. Are you ready? I can't wait. The girl's excitement was infectious, and Jamie couldn't help but smile wide. Let's do this, champ. Jamie replied, ruffling Lily's hair. Chad joined them downstairs, sporting a t-shirt similar to Jamie's. He grinned at the sight of the two girls. Superhero squad ready? Ready. Lily shouted, raising her arms like a triumphant battle cry. As they piled into Chad's car, a sense of unity wrapped around them like a warm blanket. The drive felt short, packed with laughter and endless chatter about the children they'd be helping. But just as they approached the organization, Jamie felt that thrum of anxiety return. The building loomed ahead, its exterior a calming shade of pastel with cheerful murals painted around the entrance. Yet it felt daunting. What if I mess up? Jamie's voice trembled as uncertainty came crashing back. Hey, Chad interjected, pulling the car to a stop. He turned in his seat. You won tea. Just be yourself. That's enough. Jamie nodded, taking a deep breath. The truth was she had to be enough. For herself and the children they hoped to inspire. They stepped out, and Jamie held Lily's hand tightly, squeezing it for reassurance. Inside, the atmosphere was vibrant. Colorful posters decorated the walls, and happy faces greeted them. A kind woman approached, her smile wide and inviting. Welcome. You must be Jamie, Chad, and Lily. We're so glad you're here. Jamie felt her nerves ease slightly as the warmth enveloped her. They were led to a small room filled with toys, books, and bright cushions. The woman, introducing herself as Maria, explained their mission. We connect kids with mentors, friends who can offer support and understanding. Lily's eyes widened. I want to be that friend. She exclaimed, practically bouncing with delight. Maria laughed softly. And you will be, sweetheart. But first, let us talk about what we can do together. We might need art supplies. Would you be willing to help organize some events? Jamie's heart swelled. Absolutely. I can help with art and activities. And I can help design flyers, Chad chimed in. They spent the morning brainstorming ideas and getting to know each other. Laughter and creativity filled the corners of the room, but each moment felt like a step in the right direction. Yet, every time Jamie opened her mouth, she felt the shadow of her past lurking. Finally, when they took a break, Jamie excused herself to the restroom, needing a moment to breathe. Looking in the mirror, she replayed memories that felt like chains binding her to failures. She gripped the sink, her heart racing. Jamie, you're here to help, she whispered to herself, trying to erase the doubt creeping in. You deserve this moment. As she stepped back into the room, something felt different. The weight of her past, which had held her down for so long, felt a little lighter. But the past still lingered at the edges of her heart, an unwelcomed visitor. The day rolled by with more laughter and ideas. Yet, just as they were about to leave, the door swung open. A man stepped inside, unpredictable energy radiating from him. He glanced around, a smirk on his face, but Jamie caught something in his eyes. Could he be connected to her past? With apprehension bubbling inside, she felt her heart race. Jamie realized they were all on the brink of something monumental, but could a stranger just like this man threaten to unravel everything they had built? What awaited her in this unexpected turn of events? The man stepped fully into the room, his presence changing the atmosphere like a gust of wind. Jamie's heartbeat quickened as she tried to place him. He scanned the surroundings, and then his gaze landed on Jamie. Those eyes. They were unmistakable, streamlined with a hint of arrogance but also a flicker of recognition that sent shivers down her spine. Ah, look at this, he said, his voice dripping with sarcasm. A bunch of wannabe saviors trying to play hero for the day. Everything came to a standstill. Jamie felt the heat rise in her cheeks, and for a moment, it felt as if the walls were closing in. She searched the others' faces, Chad's brow furrowed, and Lily stood silently, seemingly unaware of the tension mounting like an electric storm. Who do you think you are? Jamie asked, attempting to find strength in her voice, as if she could push back the shadows of her past. He stepped closer, a confident smile spreading across his face. Name's Derek, he said, extending a hand as if he expected everyone to bow before him. I thought I might pop in to see what my charity's been up to, but this, he gestured around, looks more like a friendly art class than real change. Jamie clenched her fists, feeling a mix of anger and vulnerability boil inside her. She didn't want to be intimidated. Her heart told her this was not who she was anymore. Change happens in all forms, Derek, Maria said softly but firmly, stepping in front of Jamie as if to shield her from his chilling energy. We're here to make a difference, no matter how small. Derek cocked an eyebrow, a smirk dancing on his lips. You really think playing with crayons is going to save these kids? The words pierced Jamie, striking a chord of her own insecurities. She felt the doubts flood back in. Was she just playing make-believe? Would the children really benefit from her attempts? Lily, sensing the tension, squeezed Jamie's hand. Actually, she spoke up, her voice small but steady, it can make them happy. And that's important, right? Derek's expression faltered, his bravado momentarily cracked. Jamie realized Lily was right. Happiness often started with small gestures, simple kindness. Maybe you'd like to help instead of mock, Jamie challenged, stepping forward, her voice steady despite the storm inside. You think you can make fun of what we're trying to do, but we believe in creating joy and fostering connections. Derek looked taken aback, as if Jamie had shifted the floor beneath him. There was something raw and real in her words, something that might slip past his mockery. I have my own way of giving back, he replied, somewhat defensively, as if the moment had caught him off guard. Then prove it. Jamie countered, her heart racing. Get involved. Support us, not tear us down. A flicker of uncertainty crossed Derek's face. It almost looked like he was reconsidering. For a second, Jamie thought she saw a glimmer of humanity, but it vanished almost as quickly as it appeared. "Cute speech," he said, but the edge was gone. "Don't expect me to play fairy godmother." Just then, a child's laughter burst from the play area down the hall. The sound was pure, unblemished, floating through the air like an invitation. In that moment, Jamie felt a swell of resolve. Whatever Derek's intentions, she would not allow him to taint this experience. Her heart stirred deeper about what these children truly needed. "I think we could all benefit from being more open," she said, her voice clearer, and less judgmental. Derek studied her for a long moment. She could feel the weight of his gaze, the curiosity, and maybe even a hint of respect. But quickly, he shrugged, masking it with a casual air. "We'll see about that," he replied, turning to leave. As the door shut behind him, an awkward silence engulfed the room, but Jamie could feel a transformation beginning. She looked at Chad and Lily, their eyes wide with questions, but also a shared sense of determination. "Let's South make this place better together," Jamie said, a newfound fire igniting within her. In that instant, she understood that sometimes the hardest struggles come not from outside forces, but the shadows rooted deep within. She would not be chained to her past any longer. As they dove back into laughter and ideas, Jamie felt invigorated. But a knot still churned in her stomach. Had Derek truly left? And would he return, this time with intentions that could threaten everything she held dear? Whatever the outcome, Jamie knew she was ready to face whatever came next. After all, change was just one brave step away. But would this be the journey she never expected to embark upon? The sun hung low in the sky as Jamie stood outside the community center, her heart racing with a mix of fear and hope. After the confrontation with Derek, she felt something shift within her, a newfound strength bubbling to the surface. This was not just about protecting her past, now it was about creating a vibrant future, one filled with potential and purpose. Lily ran around the colorful playground with her new friends, laughter filling the air. Jamie watched her daughter, her heart swelling with pride. For every second Lily spent smiling and playing, Jamie felt an echo of her own childhood dreams piecing back together. She turned to Chad, who was deep in conversation with Maria about possible community events. "Do you really think Derek will come back?" Jamie asked, her voice quiet yet resolute. Chad paused, looking thoughtful. "Maybe. But I don't think we should focus on that. We have something beautiful happening here. Let us bring more joy, more purpose. When people see goodness, they can't help but be drawn to it." Jamie nodded. Chad's optimism was infectious, anchoring her to the present moment. Perhaps this was their time to transform the very essence of their community, to mold it into a safe haven for the children that needed it most. As days turned into weeks, the trio dove into action. They organized art events, mentorship programs, and family days at the community center. Jamie spent her evenings crafting colorful flyers and decorating the space, transforming it from an ordinary building to a lively hub filled with warmth. Lily often got involved, her little hands painting murals and bringing smiles to everyone she met. The bond between them grew stronger, each of Jamie's fears gradually replaced by the joyful chaos their efforts created. And with Chad's unwavering support, they began seeing the fruits of their labor, children connecting, families mending, and laughter echoing through the halls. One afternoon, as they wrapped up another successful event, Jamie spotted a familiar figure loitering outside, seemingly hesitant at first. As he stepped closer, the flicker of recognition turned into a tremor of disbelief. "Derek?" Jamie said, surprise painting her features. That he took a deep breath, visibly unsure, but there was a softness in his eyes that hadn't been there before. I came to see what you guys have been doing," he said quietly, his bravado tempered by vulnerability. Jamie's heart raced. Could this be the moment for connection? "Join us," she said, her voice steady. "We've been working hard, and there's always room for more hands, especially if they want to help." "Help?" Derek echoed, his tone laced with skepticism yet curiosity. Jamie could see a flicker of something in him, a desire perhaps to prove himself, to redeem his past. Yes, she affirmed. It doesn't matter where you started from, it's where we go from here that counts. Lily popped up beside Jamie, her face bright with innocence. We welcome everyone. You should come paint with us. Derek chuckled, a genuine laugh that surprised even himself. Paint? All right, I'll give it a shot. Jamie could sense a change. The walls he had built around himself were starting to crack. As the weeks turned into months, Derek became a regular presence at the center. Slowly but surely, Jamie witnessed a transformation, a journey of his own that mirrored her toppling of fear. They learned from one another, pushing each other to realize that kindness and empathy were far more valuable than any monetary success. One afternoon, while they were cleaning up after an art therapy session, Jamie looked at Derek, who was meticulously organizing supplies. You're a natural at this. Have you thought about what you want to do next? Derek paused, his expression contemplative. I've never really thought of helping like this, but it feels good. Liberating. Jamie nodded, warmth swelling in her chest. You've got a gift for connecting with people. Are you open to exploring that further? He glanced down, then met her eyes with a shifted perspective. I think I'd like that. It was at that moment that Jamie knew they had all changed for the better. They were no longer driven by the shadows of their past, but rather by the light of their shared commitment to a cause greater than themselves. The community center thrived, becoming a place people sought out for hope, love, and understanding. With each event, they built a tapestry of connections woven through laughter and shared experiences, a legacy that would carry forward with every child whose life they touched. As Jamie sat one evening, watching Lily play with her friends under a sunset washed in shades of pink and orange, she felt a profound moment of peace settle within her heart. They had all undertaken a journey of transformation together, even Chad and Derek, who now stood as strong pillars in this community. Here's to new beginnings, Jamie whispered to herself, gazing at the laughter rising into the twilight sky. As the sun dipped below the horizon, Jamie felt the thread of connection they had created binding them all together, a beautiful testament to resilience, growth, and the unwavering spirit of community. And this new chapter was only just beginning, with hope shining brightly in every heart that gathered together. Don't wait not even one more second to share this inspiring journey. Subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive stories, leave a like now to feed the algorithm, and comment your feelings about this incredible transformation. If you know at least 5 friends who need to see this, share this video instantly. You need to show your support and be a part of this amazing community.